Hey everybody, welcome back to the live stream today. We are going to be doing a brand new render, as I seem to say every week, but I always have to say that because every now and then we'll do like a part 1, part 2. But I'm really excited about this one. We're going to do still kind of in the winter theme, but it's not Christmas. And I'll say that right now, it's a wintry Area 51 kind of UFO setting. So this one will be super fun. Hoping to get this done today because I have some things planned for the new year coming up. And one of which is a question that I just put inside of the chat. So if you're interested in some kind of more like VFX kind of streams that are more focused on compositing, maybe with CG as well as compositing, that is something that I think would be super fun. Action VFX has a great library of a lot of different kind of like green screen shots, and it'd be fun to kind of go through and try to make a CG VFX shot that is going from start to finish of doing tracking, compositing, and then trying to match lighting and things like that. So I think we're going to try that sometime in January. I don't know when, if that's going to be replacing this current stream that we're doing here, or if it's going to be something completely separate. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that idea. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Oh, I did not grab the snow node yet. I can actually grab, you know what? Let's grab it. We'll grab it right now. What I did do was I got Blender kit. I got the Blender kit. Yeah, CG VFX. I think it's like a nice combination of like what we're already doing, but like trying to put that in with our current streams that we're doing, but like kind of in more of a production level area. I almost got Blender, what is it, 5 or 4? Blender 4. I haven't gotten Blender 4 yet, but I will be grabbing that. But without further ado, let's look at this render right here. This is the reference photo of what we will be creating today. You know, nothing crazy. It's just a snow path, which might give us the most trouble, is creating kind of like this treaded snow path. But we've got some tricks up our sleeve, so we will be working on some of that today, as well as this nice, beautiful UFO right here in the center. Blender kit is pretty convenient, right? Okay, so I've used Blender kit before. The thing I didn't like about it was how every time I opened up Blender, it would just have like a pop-up like right in front of everything. However, I will say this, there are settings to turn that stuff off, and I didn't see that till this time when I installed it. So I was like, you know what, this is not too bad. It's not too shabby to have that. As long as it's not like every time I open up Blender, it's got like a million pop-up windows everywhere of all these different search bars and stuff like that. So but yes, Blender kit is very convenient. It's got everything right in there, from materials, models, scenes. I actually don't even know what is the scenes that it's including here. Swap over here. So it has like this scenes thing. I haven't really messed around too much with this. What is a scene? Give me results, please. Oh, so they've got like full-on blown scenes here in Blender kit. That's kind of crazy. I know you can buy some of this stuff, like this is locked for free. It's not to have on hand for sure. Yeah. But like, as far as HDRIs are concerned, it makes everything so much easier than having to go to Polyhaven. I will say that, because then you don't have to download everything. I'm interested to use the brushes because, oh, or are they all locked? I was interested. No, I'm not. They got some free ones here though. But we'll check this out. We'll go through this and we'll find some stuff that I think will work really nicely. For instance, you know, we're always looking for new snow. Oh, wow, I can't spell. We're always looking for some new different snow treads and stuff like that. A lot of this looks like it's from Polyhaven as well. Yeah, by Polyhaven down there, it says that. But that's cool that they have some that is not. So that'll allow us to have a little bit more variety in our different options that we pick. Oh, so every texture's free. There's not any paid textures. That's good to know. That's good to know. I was curious though, because within this photo that we have here, we actually have some cars that are here. Let's see. Is it 3? Yeah, we have some like cars. I wasn't sure if we were going to do these. I didn't want to have to model the cars because otherwise that would take us weeks to do that. Oh, $4 a month. That's not bad at all. Hey, once I start making money off this YouTube thing, maybe we'll look into that. Right now is probably not a smart idea for me to be spending something on that. But let's see. We'll go look at this real quick. They do have some models. I was wondering if they had any car models, because that might be useful. Those are all paid. I'm sure we can find something for free somewhere. I always like going to, I think it's now called Free 3D. They've got a lot of great models. CG Trader also has some good free models that you can get from. Photo scanning. I saw a render on Blender Facebook group the other day that had some crazy detailed snow and striped textures. Oh, yeah. That probably would have been photo scanned if it was like the feature of the thing. I find often with renders that if like it's further away, then you can just texture something. But like if you're really trying to show like as a hero shot, then yeah, you're probably gonna best bet is either to model it from scratch and sculpt it, or to photo scan something as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. So that way we're not wasting too much time. I'm going to delete the default cube, because what is life without deleting the default cube? What are we thinking here for the camera lens? Actually, we have to set up our camera. Probably just do 1920 by 1920 again. And don't tell my dad, and I know he's not watching the stream because he doesn't watch my streams, but one of the live streams we did from like November, I'm getting that for his birthday, because he was like, oh man, I really want this printed out. So I'm getting like a really high res render of it, and then I'm sending that to get that framed and all that for him, which is really fun. I'm glad that he liked one of my works that I did. It was something in, I think, November time frame when we were doing more of the Thanksgiving kind of creepy renders. Yeah, let's rotate that there. I'm going to kind of scale this plane up, and then we can start to kind of position this. Again, as usual, I mean, we're not really trying to get this to match perfectly, otherwise I would use F-Spy. And when we do our VFX streams, we will try to match it perfectly, because obviously you have to fit CG stuff with inside of a environment, and that's really important. Let's see. In the snow node, if you just applied it to the scene, I think it just ends up showing up in the groups in your shader editor as Easy Snow by Luis or something. That's awesome. Always good getting families. Yeah. I mean, they're the best. I'll show them my renders after I'm finished streaming, and they'll be like, oh my god. My mom always has the same reaction. Her reaction is, oh my god, like that. and then you know it's not exactly 100% realistic, but it always makes you feel good when you get support like that. I think this works well for the, I don't want to do that on the, we're just going to scale that in, just kind of create my little pizza, and we can kind of extend that up into infinity. And then this, of course, is always the moment we realize that this is not what we wanted, and then we line everything up. I think that's good. We're still gonna have our mountains off in the distance, but you know, allows us to have that perspective a little bit better, which we will be looking up at the UFO. The idea is the camera's kind of like at a low angle looking up. I forget what the correct terminology is for that. Found it out recently when I asked Midjourney to tell me what a photo description was. Like, they used the describe feature, and it was like, oh, well, this is blah 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 with this camera angle, and I was like, what? That's a name? There's a name for that? I always just said like, oh, the camera's like looking up at something. That was always kind of like how I described it. But it turns out there's actual names for these things, which is very useful to know. I'm gonna save this right now. That way we've kind of got our last stream of the year. Oh, not in all caps. Last stream of the year, though. Today's the 30th. I was considering, and then I decided against it, but I was considering doing a 24-hour stream and just doing some like crazy VFX shot over that 24-hour period for the New Year's stream. But that might be a thing for next year, because I should have planned it so that we start it tonight, and then I went around to New Year's, and that was like the end of the stream. But alas, I am not built for that this week. Maybe, or this year. Maybe next year we'll do something like that. I'm gonna get. Let's actually extend this ground here a little bit further. I think that's good, and then we'll just scale that out again. And then I'm going to make sure that our end is not just set to 100. Just set that to like 1,000. And let's go ahead and start blocking this out. Like we have, I suppose also we're gonna want we're gonna want the house to be about here. Yeah, 24-hour stream, dude. That's not. I have some friends that do like legitimate streaming, and they're like on Twitch and stuff, and their streams are crazy. They'll do 24-hour streams, and I'm like, what? How do you do that? I would just think I would fall asleep. But you know, it takes a lot of a lot of courage to do something like that. Let's do camera, new collection, call this layout. Throw our ground under the layout section. We don't have any lighting right now, so I don't think that's necessary. Let's go to here, and at least this week we are not going to do anything too wild as far as modeling, because that train last week took a lot of work. I was in the middle of that stream. I was like, are we gonna finish today? I don't know if this is possible. The 12-hour to get your feet wet, yeah, I think that's a better idea. And the only reason why I thought of a 24-hour is like, well, hey, it's, you know, it's New Year's. Like, you know, what if we did like a 24-hour stream leading up to New Year's? But you're right, maybe like a 12-hour stream where you start at midnight and then you go till like noon the next day. But then the question, of course, would be, are you starting midnight my time or midnight like East Coast time? Because like I'm on the West Coast, so. Then I have a feeling, I mean, I don't know. I was looking at my analytics. It doesn't tell me where in the US people are, but it'll tell me like that about 37% of my viewers are in the US, which is surprising to me because the majority of the subscribers I get are at like 2 in the morning. Whenever I get subscribers, it's at like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, well then they're obviously in a different country. But the crazy statistic I have is that 90-something% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed to me. And I was like, oh, okay, so we've got to kind of fix that. 24-hour stream to New Year's, start the New Year's off hella tired. Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's not an easy way to do that. Pretty easy house to actually model. Yeah, I think quite a bit of people are on the East Coast that watch my stuff. But I don't know. It's not exactly like I have information that's going to lead me to knowing that. The analytics aren't that specific. I know like Instagram is. Instagram will tell you everything about your people that follow you. Or at least as much data as they put inside of their application. Skip that out. And we just got ourselves a little chimney thing. We had a house growing up, and they had those sunroofs like built into the house. I feel like this place would have something like that. Extrude that up. So yesterday was actually a really cool day for me. I finished up the final mix for my film that I've been working on since last year. It's been a journey for sure, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I put together a little teaser of it as well. And that was the thing I was saying, like, if I hit 500 subscribers, I will release the teaser for the film. We're actually not that far off. I think we're at like 430 or something like that subscribers right now. Something called VDID that you can connect to your YouTube and gives you the detailed analytics and recommends tags and things to help. Oh, interesting. I'll have to look into that, because like right now I'm not really doing any analytics. The only thing I'm really looking at is like YouTube will try to help me out and be like, hey, you got this many things, and which was really cool to see last week, was it? Or last few weeks anyways. We've gotten over 1,000 views on like each stream, and okay, that's not gonna work. And so it will tell me like how many minutes people are viewing it, and like I think the average view length. I mean, these streams are long, so I understand that not everyone's gonna stick around. But it'll tell me like, oh, you know, your average view length for this stream was like 20 something minutes, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Don't know exactly how that's gonna help me, but you know, now I know. Just extrude that inwards. I think here's the easiest method for this. Let's press Y. If we press Y, then when I press L to select it, I can just select that face. Which honestly, well, I'll show you why in a second. That was not supposed to be a pun, but it was. At the end of the day, it was. I'm gonna extrude that inwards, and then we press Y. So now if we press that, we can select everything except for it. And that'll give us the body of the house. One thing I do have to figure out is for my streams. Hey, welcome, full counter. Welcome. I think you were here a few weeks ago, right? Or someone have a similar name to you. Someone might be copying your identity. Let's scale this on the X here, and we're just going to kind of create more of a door we can have here. And I'm going to extrude this outwards first. Then we're going to extrude it again. And scale that on the x-axis inwards, kind of creating a bit of a frame. And there you go. We got ourselves a frame. But yeah, I mean, as far as modeling is concerned for this week's stream, I think this will be pretty chill, pretty easy. I mean, it's just a UFO, which is honestly just a torus, like a disc at the top. And we got some trees. We just got this house, you know. We'll probably spend more of our time doing the snow on the treads here than anything, but it's not going to be too bad. Hey, let me know if my audio isn't in sync. It's the only thing I really can't QC check beforehand. The only thing I do, because it's weird, I have the Blackmagic camera here, and it's plugged into the computer using a video card. And that thing works, but for whatever reason, the audio gets out of sync of the video. And I'm not quite sure why it does that. And the only fix for it is if I turn off or deactivate it inside of my OBS and then reactivate it. So it's very annoying, actually. Because then I'll be like halfway through a stream and then someone will randomly comment, hey, by the way, can't hear you. And I'm like, nice, nice. All right, and then let's go ahead and extrude this. We'll scale it in. Well, welcome back, Full Counter. So glad to see you again. What kind of programs do you guys work in? Do you guys use Blender? Do you guys do 3D? What is your guys' general experience level that you guys do? I've recently got into using several different softwares. One of which is, of course, Unreal, because everyone's telling you to use Unreal these days. My personal opinion on Unreal Engine is that it does the job. It's just unfortunate that it's not as realistic. So, you create an epic scene. Oh, yeah. Well, Blender. So here's the thing: it's like rendering out using ray tracing is just so heavy on your system. So if you can use real-time rendering, it's very beneficial. My problem is the majority of the time that I need to do any type of rendering, I have to do it for film, so it has to look real. It has to look real. So, and you have to use ray tracing for that. Cinema 4D and Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I mean, I have never used Cinema 4D. I was thinking about getting into it. It's just, I find it very clunky. And I recently did a tutorial for Action VFX, and I had to use all the different 3D softwares. And when I did that, it was like, holy cow, dude. Like, every software was just so clunky compared to Blender. And Blender really won me over again. I mean, not that I wasn't a Blender user before. It's just, it made me go, you know what? I'm not wrong for liking this software. I feel like this is too much snow. I think we can tone back the snow. Blender is free and I enjoy it more. Yes, Blender's free and it's actually good, which is surprising. I'm gonna bring back the coverage about to 70% or so for this snow. By the way, this snow thing is built into Blender. Crazy. I know we talked about it last week. I just find that crazy that, you know, there's an add-on like this. Oh, that's pretty sweet. I like that. I might even use a bit of a Boolean up here to kind of... Can we actually edit this? Can I go into edit mode? I may have made a mistake. Oh, you can. Guys, this just got better. Although, actually, I might be fine with that. I was thinking that we might want to see some glass or something, but in the end of the day, we will probably be cool with that. Let's move on to some other stuff. There's a lot of bushes here. I think also this whole thing probably needs to sit up a little bit higher. Either that or let's go into... We're going to add a multi-res. Oh, that's why I wanted to upgrade to Blender 4. Holy cow. I forgot. You mentioned last week that I could start typing in the new version. That is going to be a lifesaver for me. And I'm not even joking, because it's, you know, I can't tell you how long I've been complaining about the fact that inside the modifiers list you can't do that. Oh my god. Alright, fine. I'll take this whole thing, we'll just extrude it downwards. Now if I use multi-res, are you going to freak out on me? That's fine, I can live with that. And I guess we will select the vertices on this side. And just, ooh. Scale that up, and then we'll select the vertices on the far back, and then do the same. The one thing I do have to figure out though is apparently there's like 18 songs in my live streams, and I don't monetize right now. Well, I can't even monetize right now, but did I apply the... Maybe not. I don't think... I wasn't scaling in object mode, so you don't need to scale. I believe it's going to tell me that it's not scaled at all. Oh, it is. Well, I can apply it. I didn't remember scaling it in object mode. I thought I only was scaling it in edit mode. But one of the things that apparently, I mean, YouTube just reminds me every single week after I do a stream, is that there's like 19 songs that I'm using in these live streams, and they are all being, or they're copyrighted. And so it's like constantly informing me, by the way, you can't monetize this. And I'm like, I don't even have the ability to monetize, just so you know. But thanks for telling me. All right, we'll just go to this mode here, and I'm just gonna kind of, from the camera angle, give ourselves a little more of a divot. Kind of don't want it to be super large. Ooh. Let's turn the strength down a little bit. Kind of got this drive path that's going to go through here. Towards the UFO in the background. Sure. I think that works fine. We're gonna probably add, you know, some displacement on top of everything, similar to what we did before. It's just, you know, a bit of a process here. So we've got our path in. Let's go ahead and add in a displacement as well. Kind of wanting to add a displacement more specifically where the treaded ground is not going to be. So we can kind of do that by... Well, actually, we'll just create a separate plane. I think that's going to be easier because then texturing will be so much easier later as well. Let's go in and add in a displacement modifier. Let me do that before. I think. New. Is this not going to work for me? Do I have to apply my multi-res? Is that what's going on here? Let's do clouds. Definitely need to apply my multi-res, I think. Low-key, honestly, it's not terrible. It's not what I want, but it's not bad. It's definitely not what I want. Let's go in and we're just going to apply our multi-res, and then our normals might need to be flipped as well, depending, because that's probably why this displacement is doing that. Let's add in our clouds again. And in our clouds, we can actually adjust our scaling also, which we're going to want everything to be remarkably small. And then I'm going to add a subdivide surface. Almost want that before. Perfect. Now we're kind of getting that nice choppy snow thing. I might want to decrease the amount of displacement that we're having here because this is a pretty insane amount. And then after all this, of course, we just apply. And let's go into our sculpt mode. And then we can smooth out the section we want. I think now we could just have that kind of just path go through here. And then also, I think for the draw, that's got a negative on it, which is cool. Let's we can smooth all this as well, which we will do. I'm gonna kind of do it from the camera perspective because honestly, it's a little bit easier that way. Oh, too much. And oh, you know what I'm interested in seeing is under Blender Kit, what kind of, do we have any brushes that are free? Snow? Nothing. Shred? Nothing. They've got noses though. Search filters, free first, please. Rock formations. Ooh, brick's pretty cool. The wood grain might actually work for us. Dude, they've got ears on this? You have no idea how many times I've tried. Oh, they've got noses! Wow, my life has been saved. I now have things. Stylized planks. Wow. I got a lot of stuff on here that saves yourself. Okay. Let's go back here and select. Cloth folding might actually be interesting. Am I using it right now? I am. Interesting. It's not rotated the right direction. Is there a way for me to fix that? Don't they have a thing with the texturing, like your tool set, that it rotates like a random direction? It's like a randomization. And usually you want that, but in our particular case we don't. That's interesting. Okay. For right now, you know what we can also do is just use the cloth. Not gonna lie, this is a little hard to do and see. Let's do that, and then we have these creases that we can. I need the strength to be really high, not that high, and then I need it to be smaller. Interesting. I don't know. We're gonna get our result here. We're brute forcing it. I don't care. I can't see what I'm doing. Is there a sculpt view? Matte cap? Nope, definitely not. Do something like that. It's a little easier to see. It's hard when it's like so bright. I'm gonna kind of create more of like this gully on the side of the road as it's going. Kind of frame everything a little bit better. That's good. I like that. And then we can smooth that out a little bit more. Maybe I might also use the draw tool to draw on top. Let's look at a reference here. I like to have a little more cavity. Might make it easier, but I don't know about for sculpting. Yeah, I think it's all about the pattern which we're going to be using. Ooh. Is this going to work? No. I think it's a layer that I need to add. And I might need to add like use like a layer kind of tool, but then using some kind of pattern. I wonder if Quixel has some tire tread snows or even tire tread dirt. Well, so here's the thing. I do have textures that have treads, so like I can use textures to for my treads. And if we're being honest here, let's go back to object mode. This camera here, let's see, where do we want this UFO? We kind of want it here. Yeah. For our sake, let's just add in a torus. I was joking earlier. We're not using toruses, but for our sake, just for right now, we're just gonna drop in a torus because a torus is a UFO, right? That's just how it works. But we do that and then add in an empty. Just drop that into our camera over here. Call that focus. We select our camera. We can set our depth of field to it. We're not going to probably see the ground closer to us if we're using more of a shallower depth of field. So I'm going to just set that to focus. And for our camera depth of focus, we'll just set that to like 1. Which we're not going to see until we like go to render view. I just realized as I was hitting the render button that I shouldn't have done that until I hit the save button. Okay, well we don't have any lighting, so we're not going to be able to see that at all, but we can enable depth of field, and we can decrease this number. Let's do something like that. One of these days I'm gonna have to set the scaling correct so that way we don't have to just guess this. Like I know what the actual f-stops would be if we were doing it with a real camera, but that's fine. Okay, next up I do want, let's do this since we're already working on the ground here. Let's see, how do we have any hilly? No, we don't. Okay, great. So let's smooth this out a little bit more. So we can go into sculpt mode here. I'm going to use the smooth tool. And let's just do that. Thinking, I like the idea of using this cloth tool because it'll give us that kind of scrunchy feel to it. And I'm actually curious what more brushes we've got. Let's try looking for something that'll give us that kind of like rough texture, if we've got anything like that. Yeah, free first, cool. Let's do the wood grain one. And then we'll scale that down for the tire treads. Let's kind of add that in there. It's weird because I actually feel like it's not quite. Let's go add a multi-resin. Subdivide. Subdivide. Perfect. That's a little bit better. I didn't have enough resolution, I don't think, but from before. And we could use this wood grain texture to give us more of that tread feel. It'd It'd be so much easier if we just got the actual car to drive on this road, right? I wish... Whoa. Whoops. I wish the scaling would stay the same, and I thought there was a setting for that, so I gotta figure that out here as well. There should be like an option so that when you, well, you might get lucky with Blender today if you haven't crashed. No, I haven't crashed yet, so fingers. Oh wow, why did you have to say that? Knock on the wood. Everyone, knock on the woods, okay? I don't want this crash to happen. Oh man, you're trying to curse me here. I see what's going on. Won't have it. That's almost a ban-worthy offense right there, which you just did. If only I had a mod. Wait, I do, but he's not here today. Oh my god. Here we go. Gotta knock on all the wood. I think this is working. Honestly, if we were to crash... Oh, here we go. It's frozen. I don't know why I didn't hit the save button instantly. Save instantly when you said that. My heart dropped there for a second. Oh my god. Alright. If there was a moment for when it was going to crash, it would have been like around this time because of adding in all of these sculpting procedures. I'm just going to keep the driving go this way. Ooh. Well, we always say when we're working on visual effects for a film, we always go, well, why didn't they just do it for real? And I got the same question. Why didn't they just get an actual car to drive down this road so we didn't have to create all the lines in there? Oh, that looks pretty nice. I like that. That works. Wow. Imagine. Wood grain is just tires, right? Tire treads. It would have been one of those times you spam the subdivide. Hey, I didn't spam it. I just hit it multiple times in a row on purpose. Spamming is not doing things on purpose. And I totally did that on purpose. Without thinking. Let's add just some snow around this house here. Dude, I'm ready to get in the warm months, though. Like, you know, the time when we're not going to be making renders with snow every single week. Although I will say that when we were doing the renders with the water, that was a little aggravating because water's not fun to work with. So I'm not ready for the summer. But maybe I am. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of create a little more rough patches of snow over here. Using this brush. Just kind of I'll add some variation into it. I think that works nicely because we're going to have trees kind of with everything else. Don't need too much detail for back here. And let's do something right here as well, behind the house and then all the way over here. I think... Uh-oh. Boom. That's good for me. Let's go ahead and hit the save button. Now what I'm curious about is we added all of this detail inside of the, which is during the multi-res situation. Let's go back to object mode. And let's actually, we're going to view our level of viewport, set that to 2. And after this, let's add in a subdivide surface. This is where you really crash your computer. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. And that kind of smooths everything out a little bit more. Let's just disable that. Is that actually doing anything for us that we want? The Dino typo option, right? When you have it checked, it only subdivides it. Oh! I've watched a lot of time lapses or live streams rather of sculptors using like other softwares, and they call that remeshing. I have never used something like that, so I did not know that that was the option. That is very useful for like closer to the camera type stuff. I know that. So let's go ahead and do this, and then let's go down one layer on the viewport, because I feel like not a huge difference between the two of these, but we're gonna have better performance just inside of our viewport if we're doing it like this. Too late for, well, yeah, it's too late now. Next time, hey, maybe you know what we'll do. I kind of want to do get into doing some monster creations. So then I'll use it then, but that's a different day and age. Let's grab this torus. I'm just going to leave this out here because it's not necessary. We're not going to keep it. I just wanted to have it for reference of where our UFO will be. And let's add some trees in. Let's go ahead and do that by just clicking where we want the tree. I'm going to be using Botanic, which I want to check out. There's another really good tree add-on, and I have not gotten a chance to use. But I find that I use the same trees over and over again, and I think it would be cool to kind of spread my wings and get different ones. Let's see, let's put this over here, closer to the camera. By the way, reminder, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you aren't already. And you know what? Here's a challenge to you. Share it with your friends. And if you don't have friends, share it with your enemies. I'm just kidding. Don't share with your enemies. We don't need those guys around here. They're not very nice. Let's see. Let's use this big ol' winter version of this tree. Oh. What I like to do sometimes, especially if I want a lot of like wooded areas, is I will add in a tree like that. And then I will go in and add another tree on top of it. And then I can have my wooded sections where it's like maybe the leaves fell off like one specific section but stayed on like the rest of the tree. I like doing that. Not gonna lie, I missed the Blender version, like the old version of Blender where you were able to right click, select something, and left click, put your cursor there. That was so much easier than what you have to do now. Panderland on ArtStation has really good trees. Okay, they're like $1 each. Okay, you bought a few. They're crazy high poly. Oh, okay, I know that like there's often times where I need like trees in our films, and you know I don't really want to use Botanic for that because I just don't feel like Botanic is high enough quality. But that is interesting. I will have to check that out. And the great thing about using it for work is I don't have to buy the plugin or to the trees. The client does, not me. But then I get to use them, and I like that. Let's add some trees back here. I like, maybe we just add just that tree. I'll keep the scaling about there, I think. Kind of move this around. We'll add in some different trees in different areas. I don't want it too large because I don't want it to take away from the UFO back here. Panderland are very nice looking trees. I'll link you on Insta. Thank you. By the way, I wanted to watch your videos that you sent me, but for whatever reason, Instagram never would load them. And I don't know, my Instagram's been bugging lately. I'm not gonna lie. I can't load like so many freaking different things. It's been ridiculous. And I was talking to my brother about it, and I don't know what's going on. It's like they It's like Instagram made like some kind of update and now it's like broken. I don't know why I'm having this problem now, but so your videos that you send me, you just would constantly like have this like loading bar. And even when I went to a computer, it would say video not playable. And I was like, what is going on here? So I got to figure that out. Instagram trying to throw me through the ringer here. It's like, why can't you just work, Instagram? Also, why do you have to update? Because every time you update, you cause problems. Just stay on your version that works. I'm not complaining. All good. We just a few videos showing you the snow shader and Blender Kit. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I figured when you guys were talking about Blender Kit last week, I've used Blender Kit before, and my only problem was the pop-up window nature of it. But I was able to figure that out this time, and so I will endeavor to use it. I do like it. It gives you a lot of things right there. You don't have to go search for it. And then when you, because like the problem with Polycam, I love Polycam, but it's like you gotta go find it, download it, and then you gotta unzip it, and then you drag it in, and then create all your materials. I find it fun to make materials, or at least edit materials. I like to grab different shading textures and then like combine them together and things like that. But still, it can become quite a hassle to do that, or at least to do the download aspect of it. I'm gonna kind of fill in this area over here a little bit more. Let's just spawn one of these here. And the idea here is just to make it so that the feels like nature has overrun this place, like that. I feel like shrubs, which is nice. Just kind of duplicate that throughout, I think. But yeah, I mean, as I was saying earlier, we finished up the final mix for my film, which was super fun. I had never been to like an actual mixing room with like a legitimate mixing artist and all that, and it was super fun. It's like you can it's just like pure creativity is all it really comes down to. It's like you just kind of sit there and you're like, you know what, I want to hear this it to sound a little more twingy, or can you make the voice sound a little farther away, or add like this monster sound here, or the creaking chairs here, and it's like everything can be tweaked, and like it all adds just a little bit of extra realism to your render, or not your renders, but the film in general. A very fun process. Use this, we'll just scale it in. If we use this as our UFO, probably not. Why not, though? It looks cool. The Water Mountains in the background. All the way back here. In a mesh and then like a landscape. Okay, great. Mountain number 1 added, and then we'll just add in mountain number 2 behind it. Rotate it the other direction. Cool. And then that's kind of like our layout that we have. Let's go ahead and add both these landscapes under our layout section. I think that'll work well. I'm not going to really put any trees or anything back here. But what we can do is, I'm going to add in a plane. And let's just kind of go to top view here. Focus on that. I'm going to delete one of the vertices on it. And let's kind of go into wireframe mode here. And since this is more of a wooded section back here, I'm going to create this plane that'll kind of live back here. We could just move that down slightly. Either that actually, no, yeah, I got a better idea. This is just easier. Let's go to weight paint because then it'll follow everything. Can I not draw? What the hell is going on here? Solid view, strength, draw, add. There we go. Draw apparently doesn't work. We're just going to draw this section here that's kind of farther away from the camera. There might be more areas that we want, so like right here is fine. Let's kind of do that. Go back here. And I'm just going to kind of draw in the areas that I want the wooded, like kind of like grassy areas to be. And there we go. I'm going to keep that. If we go to our botanic settings here, we can add in a scatter option. So I'm going to hit the save button first. We'll do add this grass. Is it going to crash? No, it's not. Oh, that was scary for a second. And let's see. If we go to density now, we select our group that we have. The reason why it's named group is because under our data settings here, it's because it's just called group. We can rename this. It's just the default name convention that it has. Call it grass. I don't know why I keep hitting caps lock. But now it's called grass over here, so it should be good. And the only other thing is the height of it can be adjusted. So let's go in and adjust the scaling of it, specifically here. I think that scaling should be good. That's kind of off in the distance here. We don't need anything close to here because this is just kind of more of the path. I think that'll work really nicely for back there. Go ahead and save that. I'm thinking, let's see, we have this add-on physical starlight, or the physical atmosphere add-on. It's really good for daytime stuff, not so good for nighttime stuff. So let's try it, and then if not, we can always use an HDRI. I don't know what we're going to do about the stars, although we could use the HDRI for everything. I'm going to set the viewport visibility. Where's that at? Display, and let's just drop that down. Let's drop it to like 50%. That's fine. I can live with that for right now. Hit the save button. And then let's go to our atmosphere here. And then we will check physical atmosphere. And let's see, where did we want the sun to set? So if the moon's kind of over here, then the sun will probably be like that way. Let's see. So like set it from this direction, and it's kind of already below ground. I usually just use an image plane for the starry night skies and grab something. Yeah, I mean that could work. I did that recently on a render. It was for a client. It's more like matte painting type work. And recently I've been using a lot of Midjourney to create like matte painting stuff, because you can do like a full Midjourney, like you do a photo, and it's not super high quality in Midjourney, but if you take that and then take it into like Photoshop and use the AI Photoshop to like use extensions or change like different parts of Midjourney, I find that also really helps. It's all just matte painting work. So like however you do that. Ooh, so nighttime is dark, by the way. And since this add-on doesn't have a moon, we're gonna have to do that ourselves. So let's use a sun. Something like that should be good. Okay. I'm thinking we'll make this a little more blue because it's the moon. And then let's change the angle of this to be larger. Less direct. Because again, moonlight is bouncing everywhere, theoretically. So I kind of want this to actually be probably closer to like 20 degrees. And then under our physical starlight, let's do night intensity. I'm going to increase that. And then thought we were using stars, but it doesn't look like there's any stars in there. True Sky, another good add-on. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Crazy good. Yeah. Well, I mean, so this one's I've been using this one for years, and that's why I like it. I don't know if there's a lot of great things that they're adding to it, but you know, it serves my purposes mostly just fine. Increase the amount of stars. The system is lagging. I'm going to select our ground plane here, and then we just disable the real-time rendering of it, because we don't need that in our viewport here. It'll make everything a lot faster. And here, let's try this. I'm going to close that. Let's also, for right now, disable this. Save. I'm going to, since we're using Blender Kit, let's try. Okay. Have a good one. Thanks for joining the stream, and I'll see you on the interwebs. And we'll be back next week with another regular stream. Though I might during the week try to do an additional stream that's going to be more of a VFX heavy stream, more focused on compositing. But that might wait till next week. But yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah. Look at some of these here. I kind of looking for a moonlight HDRI. Let's see what we've got. Full moon, night sky. This might work just fine. Let's use this. We're gonna use, what is the original? Replace resolution with the original. Okay, so that downloads it. And then it just is probably gonna apply directly into our scene. Okay, is that in? There we go. Wow, that's bright as hell. let's go into our world settings here. We change the strength of this to be like 0.4. And let's see. Where's this moon located right now? Is it just like straight up? Where is it? There it is. Kind of want that moon to be more located on this side over here. So we can do that by, I'm going to do a vertical split and then open up our shader editor and go to world options. We can just rotate the position. Let's rotate this by like 90 degrees. There it is. I'm going to rotate the X by like 90 degrees. There it is. Zero. What is this doing here? I think this is getting us pretty close, but I need to. Ooh. Where did the moon go? Oh, it's on there. So this rotate 90 degrees as well, and then I think we're gonna rotate. Okay, that's almost correct. And then now it needs to rotate on this like to 120 degrees. I think that's gonna put it like right over here. And let's see, let's try putting that down to 70 degrees. Is that moving the shadow left or right? Oh, that's more ideal. Perfect. Okay, great. I actually don't want the moon in the angle, so let's put like 75 here, so it's just off. And I think the stars should be fine. If we do 90, I actually might like that angle a little bit better. Yeah, let's do 90. That should work. Alright, actually, yeah, let's do this. I would rather, and then we add in our own moonlight ourselves, rather, because I like the sky from the HDRI, so let's do that. And we'll add in the sun here, which we will call moon. And then we have our torus and our starlight. So let's go ahead and create a new collection here called lighting. And let's put our moon and our starlight within inside of that collection. Hide that. And then we can go ahead now and start working on the actual the moon. And there also one more thing I kind of want to do is this tree area over here just feels very barren, so I'm going to go back into botanic and then we can spawn a new asset. Let's try shrubs and find something like this. Move that over here. Just kind of filling in this area a little bit more. Might do the same for the other side. Let's duplicate that and kind of put that there and something like this. Go ahead and save that. Okay, great. I like that. I'm interested in starting to work a little bit on this UFO here. UFO should be generally pretty easy. It's just, yeah. I'm going to take this outer edge here, duplicate it, and then say P selection. And let's go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to select everything here and kind of just extrude it upwards. So what are we doing for our... I'm gonna kind of do the top here. I think, let's see, let's add a little bit of lip here. Something like that I think should do for the top. It's the top of our UFO. And then let's go ahead and alt-click this bottom area here. And let's go ahead and create the kind of bottom lip area. Kind of just just have that go up a little bit and scale it in. What does the center part look like? Oh, this is actually not supposed to be going upwards. I feel like it should be going down. Let's then have that kind of go upwards, and then extrude scale, extrude Z, then we'll kind of have that go down again. Kind of create like these tiers. Scale that in slightly, extrude that upwards, scale inwards, extrude down, kind of do the same thing over and over again. It kind of creates like this almost Star Wars looking like thruster on the bottom of it. Extrude, scale, extrude that upwards, scale it in, extrude that down, and kind of just continuing this. We'll just do this as our last one, and then scale it in. Something like that would be nice. Let's select this guy here. I'm going to use this just to scale it in slightly as well. Great. And then for this bottom piece here, let's go ahead and extrude that. Oops. And then we'll scale it inwards. Extrude that, go up. Extrude it, scale it outwards, and then go up again. Extrude upwards, scale, extrude upwards, scale. We'll kind of create like this inner bubble type of thing. Go ahead and fill that. Okay, great. I think for our UFO, that should be good. From our camera angle, let's kind of have that rotated slightly just so we see more of the underbelly of it. Go ahead and hit the save button there. Thinking, we'll get into this more a little bit for the lighting. Let's have a bit of a tractor beam on it using a spotlight. And let's go ahead and do some lighting stuff on this. So the actual UFO itself, let's go out of that view there. Let's go ahead and add a subdivide surface to this layer. I'll kind of smooth everything out a little bit more. We'll hit shade smooth on top of it. Oh, interesting. Is that because I used the lines? That's fine. We can fix that actually by going and selecting kind of like this line that's going upwards, and then if we do a mesh, normals, and flip, I think that should work. Go to mesh, normals, and flip. There we go. It was like the normals got flipped on one of the vertices, and that's only because we started from a torus, deleted the entire torus, and only had that specific section. Okay, let's go ahead and view that. I think that's good, and then we'll apply our subdivisions here. Actually, let's see. Might not want to quite apply it yet. So we may have a few different metal types, and I don't want a million vertices to try to select when we're doing that. So firstly, let's go ahead and add in our new material here. We'll call this base UFO. And then we'll add in another material. Let's call this thruster UFO. And finally, I think one more. We'll just call this light rings UFO. That should work. I kind of want on all of these bottom lips here. Let's go ahead and disable our view from there. And if we select just this ring here, that's basically all I want. So we'll have that selected, and then if we go to our material view, we can hit assign. And we just need to do that for all of our rings. We can actually do that by just going to face selection mode, and then alt selecting. Should just work on one of these, I think. Come on. Is there a secret to this? Fine, okay. I'll just do it this way. Oh my god, that's like really annoying. I know there's a trick to it, I just haven't figured out what that trick is yet. So then just go ahead and assign that. We've got this one here. Hit assign. And I think we have two more. Assign and assign. Okay, great. Now, in object mode, if we swap this over to our, let's use an emission, we can kind of see what that's doing over here, and that's pretty cool. I like that. For our base UFO, let's go ahead and adjust this. This will be our just generic metallic look, so we'll just increase the metal of that, and then probably decrease the roughness almost all the way. Go ahead and hit the save button there, and then for our thrusters, we will increase our metallic, but our roughness will be quite a bit higher, and we can make it a little bit darker as well. We might also sprinkle in some rust and things like that, because that's going to be these guys over here. And this will be pretty simple. We just select the, which apparently we can't select that direction. trying to select, there we go, that. Oh, is that not even? Not lovely. So it's on the interior side of it. Can I not? There we go. Thank you. If anyone knows the secret to that, please let me know. This is going to be an aggravating alt selection, if otherwise. I can't figure out if it's like a mouse orientation. Oh, there we go. I kind of screwed that up. And then we'll just unselect everything here. I think that should be good. We'll deselect that as well. I think, there we go, and then we'll hit assign. It's like we've done, let's do select. And then now it's just this face next. And there we go. And then, oh geez, it still has it. Then we'll go ahead and hit assign for that. Let's see, 2 more to go. 2 more aggravating alt clicks. There we go. Oh! Well, that was a lot easier. So if you select not on the vertice, but like kind of the edge, I think it works just perfectly. So it is about mouse position when you're doing it. Okay, great. Now with the thruster selected, let's go over into our shader nodes over here. And let's add in a Musgrave texture. Let's go ahead and view that, see what we're getting. I'm going to adjust the scale to be a little bit larger. And then let's add in a mix node. And this is just going to be a mix between colors. We're going to be using this as our factor and then swap between our gray metallic that we already have and kind of a darker gray. We go view that. I'm going to kind of see what the results are there. It's great. That's a mix. Let's do a darken or a multiply rather. Actually, that probably was fine. Let's swap that back. And we plug this result directly into our base color, and then we go and view our principled BSDF. We're not going to be able to see it too well, but that's all good. I'm not too concerned about that. Let's go back to our 3D viewport here. And I do almost want these inner rings here to all be lit up or something. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and create a new material, and we will call this material Center Rings UFO, and then we can go ahead and hit assign there. Our current principled BSDF that we have is just kind of like this white section here, but if we use a noise texture, go view this, adjust the scale of it to be a lot smaller, and then we do a color ramp. This will give us like these blotches. That way it's not like a consistent just single light. I'm going to drop this in here, and let's increase the amount of black slightly. Come on, there we go. we put it about there. And then we're going to make it very contrasty. So there's not a lot of gray area. It's just white, black. So we don't want any blending between the two of them. So we'll grab this white and then kind of drag it over here. Once it responds, it's always fun because this color ramp is really always laggy. Come on. I'm grabbing you. Yes. Let's change your position. Wow, this is so freaking laggy, it's ridiculous. I'm just gonna type in the number. Holy cow. Okay, I'm going to... We don't want that much white. We probably kind of need to split the difference here, so let's do 0.8. And then let's select the black and then do 0.7 on this. Wow. I'm really hoping this is fixed inside of the new version of Blender because this is driving me crazy. My home computer version of Blender does not have this much problem with color ramps. Alright, that's not enough. So we can decrease it now to like 0.6 maybe. Ooh, that might be nice. And then let's see, let's move this down. Select the white and then do 0.7. This would be so much faster if this actually was fast, but it's not. So, okay, that'll work great. So now we have this principled BSDF, which we can go view, and maybe we'll actually be able to do stuff because right now this is absolutely ridiculous. And no, I don't want to use the color ramp. Holy shit, come on. This is ridiculous, guys. Thank you for that. That's so freaking retarded. Okay. Use an emission now, and I'm gonna make it red, and then let's do a mix shader, and let's drag that to the color ramp, and use this as our surface. Goodness gracious. Oh my god, dude. This is driving me up the wall. This color ramp is so bugged in this version of Blender, it does not know how to freaking not freeze the whole computer. Like, I don't even have like a crazy computer. Blender version 3.4.1. Wow. Okay. Thank you for flying all the way down there. Wow. This is ridiculous. I'm going to increase the intensity on that. And wow, I really want to continue to make adjustments on this thing, but it's like pulling teeth to do that. Yeah, I am not interested. I swear this is every week that I ever use this goddamn color ramp. I'm just it's driving me crazy, guys. Okay, and now we can select this green color that we have kind of over here as our light that is being cast from the UFO. I'm gonna kind of move that over here, hit the save button. But in order for us to be able to see this light, let's increase the scale of it, and then we will have the intensity also be higher, which we will need. And let's go ahead and also add in a cube. Just gonna kind of have this go back here and then scale it up. And now, let's go ahead and add a new material for this. Which this new material will just be a scatter node. That we can plug directly into our volume. Like 0.1, increase our intensity. I feel like UFO scenes always lend themselves to having like more of like a foggy night. It always feels like it looks a little more artistic that way. You don't want a clear night because you don't want to see this UFO too well. Let's go to viewport display for this, and I'm just going to set this to wireframe. I can see what I'm clicking on. For our light over here, I'm going to increase the intensity to 500. And then for our fog, let's decrease that slightly. I want this to be rotated a little bit. And our light here, is that not hitting the fog? I feel like it's not. What is a portal? Use area light to guide samples of the background. Note this will make the light invisible. It's not what I want. I do want the intensity to be higher. Okay. Now let's do this. I kind of want another light. Let's do an area light. Kind of have that back here. I want this a little more off the side of that. And then we will go into our visibility settings and deselect volume scatter. Because we're only using this to kind of create some like reflections on like the edge of the and that should work. I like that. And then of course one of our other tricks that we like to do is add in a cube here. Scale this up Something like that should be fine. Delete only the face on this. And if we select this side here, we can just kind of scale it up. For this, let's go ahead and add in a new material. Just make this black. We still have to do some shading on the house. I mean, the house doesn't have any shading on it. And then also the snow doesn't have any shading on it either. But I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go to the restroom. When you gotta go, you gotta go. So that's just how it is. Cool. Well, it looks like we can start doing some shading on this house over here. Bring some life to it by adding some windows and some light on the inside. So let's go ahead and do that. Here. Select this house. And we're going to need a few materials. Firstly, because I'm kind of curious, let's go ahead and look at Blender Kit and see what that has to offer. Oops, gotta do that. Go to Blender Kit here, and then let's find some materials. And we'll find a material for our, I don't know, what, do they have categories or something? We've got so much stuff. I don't think tiles is correct. Let's see. Ooh, effects. What do they have for effects? Interesting. Plaster might be fine. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's click plaster and then go. Boom. Apply. Is that how that works? So it's got plaster on it. And then let's create a new material. We'll call this a glass. And this is going to have a glass shader. Nothing fancy. But cool thing is, since we're doing that, wait, do they have models? Of like, I don't know, lantern or some kind of like something. So we can fit all this kind of stuff on the inside of the house. Like a couch. Do they got a couch? They do have couches, guys. So what we could do is we add a couch in. Why is this over here, by the way? I want this sofa. Oh my god! Alright, well then, so then we could just select this entire couch. This feels like cheating, I'm not gonna lie. Deselect everything else. Why did it select the light? How did that happen? Okay, fine. Don't be nice to me. So we'll go ahead and select just the couch here and the frame, I guess, as well. Oh wait, do they have... Oh my gosh. You could have just selected that. And the idea here is that if you add detail on the inside of the window, you're gonna kind of see it. Because when we go into here and we add like a light bulb, which we'll do real quick, let's add a point light. Just move that over here. Increase the intensity of it, and then we'll just make it kind of yellowish. And then now, if we go to our house and just select these windows here, hit a sign. We're going to be able to see through it, and the lighting is going to look a little bit better that way. Go to render view. Drinking like a lot of water because I have a bit of a headache. The last couple days I've had a little bit of a headache. So it's like I'm just drinking so much water. I think that works. We're probably going to want more of a light over here as well. Let's go ahead and select this light bulb and just duplicate it. Kind of put it more on the ground here. It should work. Go ahead and save. Now for our ground, it's just using kind of like a soil texture, which is not going to work for us. So let's go to materials and then snow. What you got for me? Hello? Hello, Mr. Blender Kit, are you alive? Let's close it over here and make it appear over here. Wow, we are having the worst problem right now. It is not working. Oh, under plaster there's nothing called snow. That's what's going on. Cool. Let's go ahead and grab this procedural snow, and that's just going to apply it to our ground. We already have a good amount of sculpting done on that ground, so we don't really have to worry too much about any of that. However, we are going to want to have specifically this ground here have a different texture to it. And so we will do that here momentarily, but I just want to see what this regular snow effect kind of looks like before we do anything else. I'll look at our reference image here. Oh, we're gonna have to do our mountains as well. Not that you can see the mountains too well. It's pretty cool. I do want a little bit more of a path to be visible here. So with that being said, let's, oopsies. I'm going to select this big flag we have here, and we're going to turn off the viewport visibility on it. Set that to like wireframe. And then go ahead and save that. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to texture paint. And we're going to have to do a few different things first. So under our shader editor, we're going to add in a new image texture here. And then under texture node, oh, not texture node editor, probably under image editor. Yeah. Hit new. And it's just going to be this 1024 by 1024 image. You can make this 4096 as well. That'll just make it a little more high res so we don't have to worry about any blurriness to our thing. And we will call this snow matte. And let's go ahead and click OK. So it's going to default everything to black, which here's the other issue, is our UVs are really screwed up here. And so we can fix that by going to object mode, selecting everything, and then saying unwrap or smart UV. And if we go over to our UV editor, we should be able to see everything kind of just like lined up here. It's all pretty small, but that should work just fine for us. So now if we go over to our, where is it at? Where did you run? Where did you run away? We'll go to shader editor first, and then we can select it here. We're gonna need our snow matte. I'm going to select that. If we just view it, we're going to be able to see what our snow matte is, which right now is just pure black. So if we go back over here, I'm going to go to need our texture painter, but I don't think image editor, I think, is more like our speed. And then from here, we can swap this over to texture paint. Great. Now, we basically just need to follow our road that we created. We're just using our paint tool, and we can just paint on here. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Should just work, but it looks like it's not. It's only working in like, oh, underneath. All right. Don't know why the underneath is being selected. It's fine though. We can just flip everything upside down and just do all the painting over here. So we're just going to kind of select this entire walkway and just kind of have that continue to go all the way back here. We can see what we're doing over here as well. And essentially, we're just kind of filling this in. And it's good though that we follow the treads. That'll allow us to know where we're going. There we go. Just keep it going. Booyah. I'm just going to kind of follow this whole path here. Okay, great. And we can, I don't know why we had to flip upside down in order to see that, but there you go. I'm going to clean it up a little bit because that's going to get a little annoying. We can swap this to black because that's basically all we need to do. And we'll just go through here and just clean that up a little bit. Now the idea about this is that once we have kind of like this matte, we're going to be able to use this to have two different shaders that we can go between. See our camera view there? Great. Let's go back over to our layout now. I'm going to go to our texture paint. One thing we do need to make sure we do is hit the save button because this does not auto save. So I'm just going back a little bit, and then we will add in this a folder called matte, and then we can just save it there. And of course, when we go back to our layout, we want to make sure that we are selected on the mat that we created in that folder. So open the image, find snow mat, voila. So now if you go to render view and we're viewing this snow mat that we have, it will display everything correctly. Hopefully. Because God forbid everything crashes because we're using color ramps. But that should work. And we know that works. And I'm freezing everything right now just trying to viewport render it. Let's go back to solid view. And now if we go over to our materials, we have this procedural snow. Let's go ahead. I'm going to create a new field here, and I'm going to find more snow. But this time it's going to be treaded track snow if we can. So that's just a little dirty. Something a little rough. A snowed roof. We might go with one of the more dirty snow options. Just not that. Although, actually, let's do it. So since we added that to our new material here, you're going to see it populate over inside of our shader editor. We're going to select everything that we have here, okay? And we're just going to copy it. And then now if we go to our procedural snow, which has our snow mat in it, I'm just going to paste it and move that down. Now here's the trick. We have these two completely different materials, and we're going to be using the mat to basically differentiate between the two of those. So inside of here, let's add in a mix shader, and we plug that into the top here. Actually, we're probably going to want that in the bottom because this is just our generic snow that we want. And then this is going to be where the path is located. And then using the FAC of this will be plugged into our mat that we used our texture paint node for. And now, what do we do about these displacements? Well, we'll get to that momentarily. But if we view this mix shader, and we go to our camera view now, we should see a difference between our path that we have, that is the road, and the rest of the snow. And sure enough, we do. It just ate backwards. So, I always forget whether or not it's the top or the bottom that's going to be the white or the black of the mat. But if we go into here, we can actually just swap these two shaders here. And we will have kind of more of our dirty path for the kind of like that, the dirt road that is going to be up to the house. And kind of the snow on the side here. We can always adjust the contrast of it inside of our settings using like a color ramp. If Blender didn't freaking freeze all the time, you could totally do that. But one thing we do want to do now though is our displacement. We only want the displacement to be on, I think actually for now we'll be fine. I'm fine with it having the same displacement as this. You could use a bump node and then use the same mat that we created before. But in this particular instance, I don't know that we're going to get too much value out of that extra calculation that we're doing. So I'm just going to kind of avoid that for right now. Let's see. Let's look at, kind of want a little bit more of a beam of light coming from the the UFO. And I think we can do that. I'm going to select our area that we have down here, and we're going to change this to spot. And we want this to be really sharp, so the blending is not going to be quite as much. Let's just increase this an insane amount. And I'm going to rotate this as well. The only other thing is our fog that we have inside of our entire world. We might want to increase that slightly for the density. Do 0.04, so that's just double as much as what we had. And we're definitely seeing a little bit more appearing here. And let's see. Let's do a couple things here. So we have our spotlight. I'm just going to rotate that down as well. And then let's duplicate it again, but this time I'm going to make it an area light. Just kind of everything in combination of each other. We'll make sure this area light isn't clipping anything, so we're just going to move that down. And we'll rotate that down as well. Let's go ahead and save button there. I'm thinking also for the sky back here, we're going to want the mountains to be a little more silhouetted up against it. So let's go ahead and create a new material for this. And since we're not really seeing it, we don't have to worry too much about detail on it. But we'll want to change the base color of this to be something darker, more silhouetted. And then let's find our mountain again, and then we're going to duplicate this and then call this mountain 2. And we'll just half the base on that. So that way it has a little bit more of a silhouette against the darker mountain back there, which I don't know that we're going to see too well since it is so foggy here. Okay, great. With that being said, let's select our entire ground plane here. We're going to do a few more things before we hit the render button. We'll look at our botanic. And let's enable our ground grass that we added earlier. Set that to 100. Hit the save button, and before we do that way we don't crash the whole computer. Okay, I like that. I'm thinking we just want a few more things closer to the camera, more like right here in this particular area. So how do we want to do that? We could use the scatter node, or we could just manually add those ourselves. I think it'll be easier for us to just manually add those. So I'm just going to add the cursor there, and then, oh, thank you so much, Jelly Bean. Thanks for watching. We're getting pretty close to being able to hit the render button, and then we're going to jump over to the compositor and be able to do a little bit more work there, just to get it exactly how we want it. I'm gonna just add it in kind of like this weed here. I'm gonna do this not in render view because this is a surefire way of being able to crash our computer. some of that wheat's gonna be fine. And then let's add in, we have some grass. Let's add in some frosted grass. Frosted dry grass. And the idea here is that, the idea here will be that we're just trying to fill in this area. Okay, and we can also use the snap to ground feature on all of this. Should work. Just want this now to be duplicated once, and just to fill in like this area here. And then we'll duplicate it again, but then we're just gonna rotate it around. Oops, not on individual origins. We'll use median origins. And I think with all that grass in the background, as well as kind of like this front area, that'll do really nicely. Cool. Let's go ahead and hit the render button, so that way we can go ahead and try to composite this. I'm going to render this out at 50% resolution first, and we'll change it from PNG to OpenEXR multi-layer. And let's go over to our render settings. I'm using cycles. I'll swap that to GPU. And then we'll go to our layer settings here, and then we will enable CryptoMat's objects as well as materials, which I always love to do to give us the ability to adjust anything that's bothering us later. Cool, so that's that. Hit the save button and let's render this. So this is gonna render out, probably take a few minutes. I'm gonna run to the restroom as it's doing such. I'll be right back. If you guys haven't hit the like button on this video, hit that like button right now. Now's as good time as any as we're hitting the render button, because I hear, this is a secret, that the more likes this video gets, the faster this render goes. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't come up with it. Someone else told me that. Okay, wow, that is coming along, guys. Very cool. That is coming along indeed. Pretty happy with that result. And we can even add a few more things in composite, I'm thinking. It's like some lens flares maybe from the UFO. Just something slight. A little bit of lens distortion as well. Gonna, while I'm waiting, open up Nuke. Man, it was like raining last night. Pouring. Wasn't expecting it. Kind of came out of nowhere. All right. Did anyone answer this Q&A that I added in the beginning? I don't know how to check it. could do I can see the Q&A here. It says interesting. I'll have to figure that out a little bit more later. I'm thinking in the composite we add a little bit more of a tractor beam effect, and I think a little bit of glow will take it a long way as well. Would have been nice to add more furniture on the inside of the house. I should have done that. Oh, also the door doesn't have anything. We'll fix that in the comp, because, or actually we'll just render it out with a proper door. I haven't added a door to it yet. That's hilarious. I didn't notice that till just now. We'll do that for the final render, but the temp render, this version of it, won't have that. One of the things I added to my home computer presets was the asterisk button on over your numpad centers whatever your camera is, which is something that like Nuke has, After Effects has. It's like a really nice feature. Oh, interesting. Might also move the area light here to be more centered on it, because it's creating a huge ball there of light. Okay, come on guys, let's render. Let's render finish up. It's almost there. Okay, and it is almost finished. 40, 32, and boom, render complete. This doesn't really bother me that it's lower like that, but would be nicer just to have that correct. So let's output this, and we're going to save this to our output folder. And we'll call this, why is it called Snowmat? We'll call it today's date, and then temp version 1, and this will save as an OpenEXR multi-layer. I'm thinking while we get this next render going, for the full res version of it, I'm going to move this guy up a little higher and center it. Hey, welcome. No, all good. I didn't post on YouTube or anything like that what time I was going to stream this week, so I didn't know if everyone gets notified or not from my YouTube channel, or how that works, but make sure to hit that subscribe button with the bell notification, then you will be aware of the times we're streaming. But yeah, thanks for dropping in. Nice to see you again. I'm just fixing up, I just rendered out the temp version of this render, and I'm just going to move a few adjustments around, and then also with this door over here, we're just adding a shader to it as well. Let's see, I'm gonna grab that and just focus on it. This was a pretty quick, easy render today. Wasn't anything complicated. We spent a little more of the time on some of the shading aspects of stuff. Or actually, really, most of the time was probably spent on the ground. You know, this... Not a huge fan of that. Let's see. I'm going to try out the Blender kit again. Back at it with the Blender kit. And we will look for some kind of wood material. Something a little darker, honestly. Something that's gonna fit a little bit better. That's wood floors. Oh, that's fine. I like that. Where'd that go? There we go. Click on it. Apply to my wooden material that I just added. And I think that should work. We'll hit the eyeball on that because I don't like seeing it. I'm just going to double check under render view before we hit the render button there. You know what we didn't add? Were these light posts. We didn't add light posts. Do we need light posts? How does it look without the light posts? I think the light posts are nice. I don't know that they need to be there. Because I'm using Blender Kit, I'm going to try to just find if they've got a light post. Let's just do that. Do you guys have a 3D model of a light post? Let's go to Models, Light Post. Is that what they're called? Oh, street lights maybe? Is that what they're called? Street lights? Yeah, there we go. Kind of like a wooden one if they've got one. Something a little more old-fashioned. Less commercial. See, I can now select it and don't need this. Something like that should do fine, right? Kind of like overseeing the road a bit. I'll kind of duplicate this all the way over here. I don't think there's any light bulbs attached to it. It's just steel, right? So we can just render that out now, and then I don't think we need any more down here. Maybe one more, so it doesn't feel like the whole road just ends. Hit save button there. I don't think we need a lights coming from the poles, the posts. I think they're good just as is. Yeah, great. So I'm gonna render this out at full res as we composite it. Let's jump over to the compositor here. So I'm gonna import this into Nuke firstly. from today's date, and output. Select that. Let's use our shuffle mode and swap this to the combined, and we can just get all of everything in the right area. Let's go and view that. Cool. So this is our render, our temp render anyways, and then let's reformat this to be the proper scale of what we were going to want, which will be 1920 by 1920. And then we can add in a few things like glow, just a tiny bit of glow, not a lot. So we can just change the tolerance there. And that's just going to bring everything to life a little bit more. Change the brightness slightly on this as well. Don't want too much. Kind of put that down there. And then let's see, a nice lens distortion, never hurt anybody. So we're just going to redistort this image here. You got any resolution for 2024? Oh, like a New Year's resolution. Well, this whole last year I've been working on this film that I had mentioned before, and yesterday was the final mix day for it. So, you know, that kind of was my, I guess, New Year resolution for that. For next year, let's see. I have because what I worked on was a short film. It was a proof of concept. I kind of do want to finish the screenplays for it. So I have a few scripts that I've been working on for a while, and I might put that as like my New Year resolution. Just, I feel like kind of seems a little lame to have something like that as your New Year resolution, but yeah, I don't know. What do you have any New Year resolutions yourself? Hit new here and add 1920 by 1920. I guess also I could say growing this channel, because that's something that I certainly want to do in the new year. Which, I mean, it's not something that is only for next year, it's just like a continued growth. It's kind of what I want to do with this. Because I have a few things planned for this coming year. We're going to start doing a few like guest streams. So we're going to have a few more artists working on some stuff than just me doing streams. Let's do this, and then I'm going to extend this kind of. You can always use an edge blur as well for something like this. But this is essentially just going to fade out this kind of constant that we're adding in here. I'm going to also pre-multiply this. And now, if we add another merge node into this, and just drag that over, we should just have, yeah, that. And we can always adjust how much we want this visibility to be, which is going to be much less, but I just want it to have, let's see, 0.01. And now we take this guy and we can just edge blur. I think actually we take this edge blur over this roto is really what we need to be doing. Yeah, there we go. So now that's going to add kind of like this glow, more intense glow here. I don't know that we want 300 to be our edge blur, so we can always adjust that down. Something like that should be better. And that's going to give us more of like that tractor beam effect that we want. Ooh, save. I always forget to save whenever I create these new files. Call that comp. Oops. Let's call that comp, and then version 1. Okay, great. There are a few things that I kind of wanted to adjust though before we get to this tractor beam effects work. So let's just select all of this and we're just going to move it down. One of the things that we do have here is our crypto mats that we added, and I want the mountains to be a little bit more defined back there. So if we go view this crypto mat, we can see all the different mats that we have, and our mats for our mountains are here. So if we just select both of those landscapes, you can see them pop up here in our mat list. We can actually take this mask tool here and plug it directly into our crypto mat. And now if we go to this grade tool, we can actually just adjust the darkness value of specifically that area where the mountains are. And if I disable it and re-enable it, you can kind of see what's happening here. That's the re-enabled version of it. We're going to have this weird outline that's happening, but that's just because we are reformatting our entire image. If we weren't reformatting it, we wouldn't be having that issue. It's just that it bugs out like that when you reformat first. Fortunately for us, we are rendering out a full res version, so we won't have to worry too much about that. We don't want it to be quite, let's split the difference there. We just want it to be slight. Something like that. And keep in mind, we can use this crypto map for everything. Or we can create a crypto map for pretty much anything in our scene. So for instance, let's add another crypto mat of specifically just the house, not the snow on top of the house, but the house itself. What's going on there? There we go. And plug that in there. Just make this a little bit more, a little darker, contrasty, compared to the rest of the environment. And our lens distortion here, let's just want a little more. That's kind of stretching the whole image past it to make it feel a little more 3D, more realistic. Yours is probably actually just completing things and not leaving them in between. Yep, just a vague resolution. That's not too vague though. I mean, that's just working on yourself, which I'll be honest, I have that same problem of just not finishing projects. And it's like, that's one of those things that I've definitely been working on. It's like you get so inspired by like different things you see on the internet or, you know, different people's works, and then you want to jump in and try to create those things yourself. And for me, it's like I'll drop something else that I'm working on just to try to do that stuff. So I've been trying to not do that as much recently and just kind of be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to finish this project that I wanted to do, and then I will go from there. And I think that's really important. Now, that's a really good resolution. That's good. I'm going to actually also add in a lens distortion, or not a lens distortion, but a, oh my god, why can't my brain think right now? Lens flare. Wow, I could not for the life of me remember what those things were called. That's how tired I am right now, I guess. Also don't know why I'm tired. I have slept quite a bit the last few days. It's just so it gets dark so early, and maybe it's also that I'm not working between the holiday breaks, so it's like there's a lot of just downtime, and that just makes you tired as well. I would rather be busy, like constantly busy. Let's see, come on, load presets, please. Want something a little more sci-fi, which will probably be more of like an anamorphic lens flare rather than this, which is definitely not what we want. Just don't know why it's taking so long to load our presets. Should just work. There we go. So that's the one that I had created. Where are the don't understand. Oh, there we go. That was very buggy for a second. So that's more like anamorphic. Let's see, we want more like a stylized blue ethereal. No. Ooh, I like that one. Let's load it. We can kind of bring it down. Does the Sapphire's lens flare work well for you? Because mine is really slowing down the whole comp, and the preview isn't working. Okay, that is a good question. I mean, you just saw how freaking laggy that was. I don't use Sapphire lens flares all that often. I do use them when I'm working on stuff that's like a very specific lens flare, because it gives you all these options here. I tend to just disable it when I am trying to get playback on something else, and then I will enable it for my final renders. Another thing you can really do is once you get the animation of that lens flare down and the lens flare is approved by artists, you can actually just render this out specifically. So let's say I had like a constant here and I just made it full black. That's basically what I want. Oops. Let's do this. Just make it full black. You can just take your lens flare that's animated and you can just put it over black, and then later take that as like a outputted version and then comp that back in over to your scene. I find that works the best because then you don't have to deal with this lens flare plugin all the time, especially if you're making changes later to other things but not the lens flare. Like the lens flare is probably not going to be adjusted once it's approved. So I tend to like to just bake out a version over black and then comp that using a merge node. I find that works the best. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but let's see. I'm going to adjust some of this brightness here. It's just way too much. Scale our thickness. I'm just going to bring that down slightly here. Our hotspot brightness, let's bring that down as well. We don't know too much of that. And then our rays brightness, let's bring those down a little bit. And then let's bring the other down as well. This could be a little bit more transparent. We don't need to see that too much. Are we liking that, or is that just like way too much? I think it's definitely the wrong color. I mean, it's supposed to be green, but we can adjust that. Overall, I mean, I think it's kind of like the right feel of what we want. We want it to feel like it's coming from heaven. Kind of do that. I like that, and then maybe we just add a little bit of lens dirt or something like that as well, just kind of like here on the edges. I'm thinking after the grain we'll probably add in another grade node. Let's just add in a roto real quick with an edge blur attached to it, set to like 300 is my favorite blurriness level. And let's see, I'm going to kind of something like that and pre-multiply that. It doesn't, thank you. I'll see it's any better in After Effects and pick my poison. Yeah, I just find that After Effects tends to be pretty laggy. That's my only problem with After Effects, is that it doesn't handle larger comps as well. Just a little bit less powerful as far as that's concerned. But, you know, you're right. You kind of have to pick your poison with how that is. Oh, whoops. I gotta invert that. I was like, why is it not vignetting? It's not giving me the results I want. Okay, that's gonna kind of bring that down a little bit. I'm really liking it, guys. What do you think? What do you think? I am planning on doing a few tutorials though and such that are having to do with between After Effects and Nuke and how to use both the most efficiently. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you see that in the new year. I got a few videos planned that are coming out over the next month or so, and that is one of them. As well as there's another video on this channel where I showed some de-aging work we did in a film, and I'm going to show you how to do that from scratch using Nuke. So if you're interested in some more complex tutorials like that, then please hit that subscribe button. Great. I'm thinking that this right here is good for today's render. We are rendering out the full res version still, so that is going right here. And once that's done, I will replace it inside of our Nuke comp, but it doesn't look like it's going to be finished for another 10 minutes. And unless you guys have any questions that you want me to answer or anything like that, don't have much to tell you guys. But thanks for joining this stream. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week. We do these weekly new streams every single week. We've been doing Christmas theme for the last month, and now we're getting into doing some more artistic renders of some other stuff. I have some plans to do some CG VFX streams, which was a question that I had asked earlier if anybody would be interested in that, which will be more like compositing based. I am thinking it would be fun. Action VFX has this great new library for practice footage, and they have a lot of green screen and stuff like that we can do like set extensions and full 3D with the actual shot footage. I figured it'd be fun to kind of take something like that and then create some really cool scene like this, but using some green screen footage and trying to blend it all together and make something really fun like that. If that is something you're interested in, let me know. Comment below what you guys would like to see next, what kind of streams you want to see. It was really easy for the last 2 months to pick what the images were going to be because they were all just themed. Basically, like, well, actually 3 months, because we did October, we did some more Halloween themed ones. In November, it was kind of like fall-y kind of things, and then now we got Christmas. But yes, Happy New Year! Sorry, this is the last stream of the year. You guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys later. This image will be posted on Instagram, as well as, I guess, I'll be posting the time lapses. I've been really bad for the last few weeks, but I have to post the time lapses. I'll post the time lapses for this stream, as well as the other ones over the next few days. And it'll have all the final images as well, because I get it, not everybody has Instagram, but these images always go to Instagram first. So if that is easier for you to see that there, then go ahead and follow me. My link is in the description. It's in the description. And if we hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to release something special. I'm telling you that right now. It's something I've been working on all year, and some of you may already know what that is, but I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So once we hit 500 subscribers, and we're pretty close actually. We've gone up 100 in the last, I think, week or 2 weeks or something like that. It's absolutely insane. You guys are killing it. But thank you so much for joining the stream, and I will see you guys next week. All right, peace out 2023, and I'll see you guys in 2024.